Legionnaires of the Lariat, welcome back to another episode of I Still Call it Lariat, and we are here today giving you our rundown of the best matches of 2025. I'm your host, Michael Wright. With me, as always, is my tag team partner, Zapf. Steven, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Well, it's good to be back before I Still Call it a Lariat. We're doing another specialty show. I like that. Always fun with these opinion-based shows because no one's going to agree with us. Everyone should agree with us.
My opinion's the only one that matters.
Everyone should agree with us.
Clearly. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I've done a show like this. Like all of my shows over the last definitely couple months have been PLE predictions and reviews, and we really haven't done anything like this in a while. I feel like since Hound hasn't been here.
Yeah, possibly since last season.
Yeah, last season. But we're in today. We're gonna have some controversial picks. We don't do star ratings, you know that already. We just kind of go with the flow. I will say this list is probably a mixture of what our favorite matches are, which ones we think really stood out to us, the ones that will be most rememberable by the time we get to like 2035. And we're like, remember 10 years ago when we were doing that podcast that was critically acclaimed and all that good stuff?
And now we're retired.
Yeah, of course. Well, we won't retire. Don't worry. We'll never abandon you, Legion. But at the end of the day, really looking at this holistically, great matches. And, you know, those that listen to us regularly know that we're pretty big sticklers for good wrestling matches. And all of these fit that ilk. But at the same time, we also rank some of this based on what we just enjoy the most. And, you know, we always say it, you do you. Like, you guys choose what you think your best are. And I'll say it at the end of the podcast. If you have a top 10, you want to throw it down there, give us a little insight into what you liked and why you liked it. Please share it along because we'd love it. We'll read every one of those comments.
Damn right.
But per usual, we'll put a little spin on this because Steven and I really did try to give you guys one list of the top 10.
Spin.
And per usual, Steven was wrong and wouldn't admit it. So what we did was we were able to agree on the top 8, put it in the same order. So we will run down that list of 8, but 9 and 10, the last two, we really couldn't come to an accord. So Steven, I'll let you talk to you about your first match first. Why don't you go from there?
All right. So that would be Evolution. WWE Evolution, that is the all-women's pay-per-view, and this would be the main event of that card. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's World Championship, not to be confused with the WWE Women's Championship. This was a phenomenal match with a shocking ending because this was Naomi cashing in to get her first world title since returning to the promotion. So, and there had been some ups and downs, even the way Showtime and I had spoken of Naomi. It always seemed like she wanted to move a little faster than she could. She just didn't fit the babyface mold anymore. I would say this was the pinnacle of her being her heel character up until she left. And this was an amazing match even before all of that happened. Io and Ripley, I don't know if they know how to put on a bad match with each other. This is one of those situations where I say sometimes if Io has a less than stellar match and Rhea has less than a stellar match with somebody, they just don't have the chemistry with that person. I've never seen Io versus Rhea in any version of it, whether it's just them two or add in third female wrestler. They still managed to put on a banger, and this was a banger. I'm actually surprised on our list I had as many women's matches as I did normally. I do lean a little bit guy heavy, but this year was a little light on the pay-per-view matches that were PLE matches, whatever, that were as good as they could be.
Yeah, it's funny. I was the opposite. Usually I'm gushing over the women's matches. There were more men's matches on my list. But similar to you, when I went into this, when I looked at your list the first time, you literally had 4 EO matches on. It can't be a list of all of that. We have a way to rectify skimming some of those off of the list. Don't worry, folks. We'll get to that later. You could easily do it that way. She stood out, but again, like some of the top wrestlers this year, I think were all women. Becky, Rhea, Io. Even Stephanie Victoria that came on late in the year, and Naomi had a good run at a point in time. There's a lot
Tiffany.
of them where, yeah, Tiffany had a good year. Tiffany's year was all right.
I blame Tiffany's booking a little bit more than, yeah.
100%. I'm with you on that. If she would have been heel the whole time, I guarantee you I didn't say that like that. I'll hold my reservation since I wouldn't put it on the top 10 on my end, though it deserves the spot. Fantastic match. But I'll tell you, my number 10 for this one was the blood feud of all blood feuds. And I know there was quite a few blood feuds this year, but nothing cuts quite as hard as Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens at the Elimination Chamber in an unsanctioned match. A little insider baseball. Part of the reason why Steven didn't put it on here is because they didn't go far enough, which is funny considering how many of these unsanctioned matches and no holds barred matches we were like, it's too ultra violent. This ultra violence didn't go far enough for him. But this one was an absolutely fantastic match. It's exactly why it's such a precise edge that you have to walk on for this one. Anytime you have Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn in the ring together, magic's going to happen. These guys came up together. They know each other better than anybody else. This match was fantastic. I think back about the barbed wire chair spot in this one, where we kind of critiqued that, you're going to do a spot like that and you're not going to bleed. I heard later on he was supposed to, like, that was real barbed wire and he hit that hard. His head was just too tough for the barbed wire.
Head too hard. That's what happens.
It was, so it was, it was great. It was a really, really good match. It was one of the last matches. Was it the last match that Owens had before he went away for neck surgery?
Because he was going to go into a clinic. Because he was supposed to do something with Orton, and he did this, and then went away. This is the forever feud, though, right? Like, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have been wrestling each other, fighting each other forever. I mean, I might be confusing them with Kevin Steen and El Generico, but
no,
totally different guys. Totally different guys.
Well, Kevin Owens and Kevin Steen are the same person. I've seen their
That's fine. Sami Zayn just steals all of El Generico's stuff.
It's embarrassing.
Jerk. The real heel in WWE.
Oh, yeah, the biggest heel.
I will say I told you the real reason that this match didn't make my top 10 was because it was unsanctioned, was really the only reason why I didn't go into it. And I do have a couple gimmick matches in my pick, so I didn't want to just add another one in. This was a great match, though.
This was entertaining. I will say this probably makes it on because I was such a big Kevin Owens fan, particularly at this point. Those watching the show definitely had seen how often I was talking about him being the real face of WWE. It's like he just was telling the truth. Him and Drew McIntyre just telling the truth, and no one liked it. No one likes the truth. I get it. You want to be lied to by the politicians,
all the truth sayers,
the Sami Zayns of the world, the cancer that gets into a group and then breaks them up quickly after. Look
the Vice President Rhodes.
Sami Zayn's. Look at every group Sami Zayn's been in, and what happens afterwards when he just talked to Alpha Academy, and they fell apart. It's embarrassing. It fell apart.
That is just sad.
Just make them better. Push them.
No one wanted to follow Grandmaster Chad Gable.
So it is what it is. What can you do? Steven, go ahead. I don't want to spend too much time on our extra picks here since we didn't agree, but why don't you give us your number 9 pick?
Number 9 was AEW World's End, the 4-way world title match between Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, Hangman Adam Page, and MJF Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Snuck this one right under the wire.
So I really enjoyed the AEW World's End pay-per-view. I know I am hard on AEW quite often, but I do also say quite often that AEW puts on really, really good pay-per-views. With that said, I think this was one of the best pay-per-views of the year. I know it's the last pay-per-view of the year, but it still was one of the best ones that either company had put out. A lot of the stuff they did really made sense. And this match, Showtime wasn't as high on it because it's a multi-person match, a 4-way specifically.
Just too many people.
But this was a very good match. They limited the Jamokin as much as they could. And MJF coming out on top in this super heel, dangerous heel mode that he's going back into. I think this is the reset the company needs right now, where they need to get back to when Tony Khan has said, well, we need to get back to what we were doing at X time. MJF being the face of the company and being the heavyweight champion and being a real heel is, I think, what they need to get back to when they say that. And I might be reading between the lines with that, but MJF leading, and I hate to say it, but I really did believe Samoa Joe was going to be a transitional champion the whole time anyway. I really think that this was Samoa Joe getting a world title one last time before he hangs it all up, because this is his last year too. So this was a nice transition where him screwing Hangman to get the belt a few months before this and then losing it to MJF is kind of the right way to go about it. And then you've got Swerve and Hangman who can chase MJF for this belt now. And I think that's the right choice. I just think storyline wise, they ended 2025 on the right note, and that's why this match is the right option.
I hear you. The whole Joe getting the title when he did just didn't make much sense to me. The way that went down. We said that in our reviews and or at least when we were talking about it. So for me, this one it felt slapped together at the last, but great match. Don't want to take it away. It's none of these matches can possibly be buried. We're talking about a year's worth of matches and trying to distill it down to the top 10. But this one, I never get up for really a 4-way match. There's just so much going on. You can never really get the best out of everybody. I'm happy that MJF's champion. I'm all for that storyline and where it's going. Hangman and Swerve chasing after him. Fantastic. Can't wait for it. But same time, it's just not my type of bag. Like I said, part of this is what we like and what we don't like. Do you know what I did like, Steven?
What did you like?
The new IWGP champion, Inosuke Takeshita, and I have such a hard time pronouncing his name, versus Jack Sabre Jr. In one of, I think, best pure wrestling matches of the year. I am definitely the technician of the two of us. I absolutely love these type of matches. This was a punishing match from New Japan, and the way that the story that they told, the way they kind of built it down, really showing Sabre as that dominant champion, constantly finding ways to get Takeshita to tap, but he doesn't quite, and then the power of Takeshita to break that up. until he finally got Sabre to stay down and then take the championship. I love this match. One of the reasons, and maybe the reason that is kind of put it over the edge for me as well, is the fact that I think AEW is completely underutilizing Takeshita right now. Like it's ridiculous, and it's nice to see him get his roses here and get this title. The match is fantastic. It paid off the previous meetings from the G1. This match, it was everything I needed in a match. So when it comes to like some of this other stuff that you'll see, we'll call it out because it was entertaining or it had this kind of stipulation, or we'll look back and remember this match. I may not look back at 2025 and remember that this match was here, but when people ask me later on what was one of the best like pure wrestling matches that you've seen in a while, this is one that will come to mind and why it kind of made it onto my list here.
So it was a great match. Takeshita doesn't really do bad matches, and Zack Sabre Jr. also doesn't really do bad matches. And we've seen it on the show here. I've come along on Zack Sabre Jr. a bit more than I did in the past. I think he has packed on a little bit of size to go along with how he works, which helps a lot with the aesthetic of it, especially the way he works. He doesn't need to just be super skinny all the time. Like it's a good thing. The reason the match wasn't on my list, and this might be the business side, me thinking of the wrestling business side of things, is because the new precedent that they set in New Japan with whoever wins the G1 can just take the title shot whenever they want, really. And this didn't happen at Wrestle Kingdom in the Tokyo Dome. That takes it, unfortunately, it does take it a little bit out for me. It's like if you won the Royal Rumble and decided to take your world title shot at Elimination Chamber instead of WrestleMania. It actually is that level for me difference, because Wrestle Kingdom is their WrestleMania. That's New Japan's biggest show of the year. It's in the Tokyo Dome every year, and there is a difference between winning the title, I'll say in front of big crowds. Winning the title in front of, let's say, 20,000 people is still a big crowd, but winning it in front of 60,000 people in the biggest arena in the country is a bigger deal. And I feel like that's what takes it out for me. And again, that's my opinion. That's why it wasn't on my list. But I also understand why it was on your list, because it was an awesome match.
Yep. And you could be wrong most of the time, so it's all right. But moving forward, I don't think you're wrong, because coming out of this match, we have now our top 8. We agreed on this top 8. We were able to get this in the same order pretty amicably, I think. I think once we kind of aligned on these ones that were all overlapping, it was pretty easy to kind of put them in their place. Maybe I would move one up or down a spot or two at most, but they were all kind of around. We were really aligned with the top 2 were locks for the two of us. I probably would have made something a little bit higher than number 3, but it was easy to kind of compromise on some of these. So
sometimes
Steven, I'll
it's
let
a
you go
compromise.
first.
That's how relationships work.
Definitely. It's open communication, compromise, and then always telling me I'm right. So, Steven, why don't you kick off number 8?
Number 8 is going to be AEW All In, the main event, a Texas death match for the World Heavyweight title between Hangman Adam Page, the challenger, and Jon Moxley, the holder of the championship briefcase. This was...
Don't look.
This was a very good Texas death match. Actually, even the little changes that AEW instituted into what the rules were for a Texas death match, I think still kept the heart and soul of what a Texas death match is. They didn't try to reinvent the wheel. They just made it a little bit more of a smoother match as far as how to end it and things like that. Where if you submit, the match is automatically over. You don't need the 10 count afterwards, things like that. So I do like that. I said to you before we went on this recording, the reason why this match is lower on my list, though this was the main event of the biggest card of their year, is if Hangman had won this match, eliminated Moxley, and the Death Riders went away, and Hangman really, really cemented himself as the face of AEW, this match might be higher up on my list. Because though the ultra violence of this match and the length of this match is not my cup of tea all the time, what the match would have represented would have moved it up higher as far as the business aspect of things go. I thought that this was a good end to the Hangman Adam Page redemption arc. I feel like, unfortunately, once they got on the other side of this, though, Hangman chasing the title is way more interesting than Hangman having the title.
I get that. I just don't think they give Hangman enough time to cement himself as champion before they made that decision, to be honest. First, I want to just say, I really wanted you to announce this one because I wanted to hear you say Jon Moxley's in the top 10 matches for this year. And Hangman is a nice little bonus.
You're
well
a jerk.
done. When we talked about these Texas Death Match, unsanctioned match, the ultra violence or how far it goes does rise in a razor's edge, and I think that this one really hits it very well. Even though they went to the fork super early in this match or what have you, it was things you'd expect from these two guys going at it with each other. You had this kind of good versus evil feel. You had the Death Riders coming from every which way and some surprise run-ins. Darby doing something stupid. The normal that you'd get in this situation. I believe, I'm actually curious now. We didn't do this ahead of time. I'm curious how many of these picks we got right when we were doing the prediction shows. Not that we picked every single one of them because some of them happen outside of AEW and WWE, but I'm actually curious on that one because I do remember this one calling Adam Page to win this, and Steve was like, "No way, no way is he going to get this match," and I was like, "No, this is the moment. This is the time that Adam Page takes the title, the downfall of Moxley, which then he just turned face, which I'm not quite sure how that worked." So I see you on how it lands. I'm with you on that one, Steven. But at the same time, I think the lead up to this match and the way they kind of handled it was really fun and really good. It was kind of, I know there was a lot of the way the Death Riders started to spiral out of control. They were there a little too long. It got a little redundant. Mox's matches were just, everyone had to wrestle his match. That was getting a little old. And this was the perfect time to kind of take this down. And I think you did get this right. I don't want to say you did, but I'm pretty sure.
I did get it. We both got this right. We both got this right. Actually, I think we've gotten almost all of the ones on this list right that we did pick, except for Io Rhea, because we did not pick Naomi cashing in.
Oh, but that's not on my list, so it doesn't count.
Yes,
that's just a loss for you.
But we both got this right. We did. We both got this right.
Fair. Yeah, I think that's a little bit of revisionist history. Don't listen to him, Legion.
Legion, listen to me.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Number 7, we have Brodito versus FTR in AEW's Full Gear 2025. I think this is the best pure tag team match that we saw this year. This match was absolutely fantastic. I gushed over it when we did the review show. I think I called this my favorite match of the night. I hope I did.
Yes.
Now that going back, looking at it, because I know that you had a different one that you thought I was going to choose. And when I said this one, you're like, okay, that makes sense. It was like kind of a clinic of how you run a tag team. Brodito was really fun as champions, as a team that they put together. but they really didn't have. They couldn't hold a candle to the best tag team in wrestling, in my opinion. FTR, we've been saying it for years. I think they are the best tag team in wrestling. They are so much better with the titles, I think, and I think that over the last couple of months, maybe last year, ever since they kind of ran into the Young Bucks, they've been kind of floating around, and they really didn't have much going on. They do this thing here and that thing there, but this kind of gets them back into the dominance of the tag team division moving forward. I think this was great. They won the titles here for the third time, and we give a lot of crap to some of these crazy kickouts you see, particularly in FTR matches, where there'll be like a spike pile driver and someone will kick out at one. But you actually did also see like really showing like Bandito come out as this real tough character, someone that like you might even believe could kick out like a hawk and animal when they would kick out of those kind of things. So I absolutely love this match. Sure, you can argue there was other tag team matches. I think you need to add more people to even come close to that. But I'll get to that one later. Steven, what do you think?
I thought this was a really good match. I do think that this is the best tag team match of the year. The only critique that I've had on this whole match, and I said it during our review even, was the match went a little bit too long. If they had shaved off just a hair off of this, anywhere from about 2 to 5 minutes, I think this match would have been great. Unfortunately, to go along with what you said, the critique was of the crazy kickouts. We did see some of that in this match, and not just on Bandito. It's, you know what it is? It's not the crazy kickouts. It's the fact that this is kind of an indie mentality. We could say it's an AEW mentality, although I've seen it in WWE too. It seems to be this new school mentality of, well, it'll make them look tough if I have to hit them with 7 finishers before they go down, but they don't fight at all in between those 7 finishers. And that's always where that's where my critique is of the crazy kickouts is, okay, if it's a big match, you're going to do the crazy kick, the big kick out of the major move, but there was nothing between that big move and the next big move that did put you down. So why not just put you down with the one big move? But this is
it's
still
like it was muscle memory to kick out rather than an actual fight.
Exactly. So I would rather, again, I don't want to bash this match because this is the best tag team match of the year.
It's number 7. You can't help yourself, can you? It's number 7.
No, it is number 7, number 7. But they are, like I said, FTR best tag team in the world right now. I would like to see them bolster the tag team ranks of AEW so we could really, really see some more stuff out of them. I'd like to having them be the tag team champions, and even Bandito before this winning the titles in that, what was it, 3-way or a 4-way match with them, and that was how they got it off the Hurt Syndicate, because it was so hard to get those belts off the Hurt Syndicate because you had to make it believable. And this was, Bandito was a beatable tag team. FTR, though they are the best tag team in the world, are a beatable tag team. I think this is the right way to go about this.
Yeah, I hope that they don't act like a beatable tag team in the next couple of months. So we'll see kind of how that all breaks down. Steven, number 6.
Number 6.
Go for it.
This was Mystico versus MJF in CMLL's 92nd anniversary. This was in Arena, Mexico. That's a big deal because those fans are hot. That crowd was hot. This was honestly between the two Mexican promotions that are being highlighted by the two major American promotions, that being AAA and CMLL. CMLL having Arena Mexico as kind of their Madison Square Garden, I guess it would be, is huge because that place looks awesome. Like, not like socks are awesome, like the universe is awesome. This was honestly, up until he left for that little bit, again, this was probably MJF's best work this year.
I think it was. I mean, based on this list, we think so.
This is probably his best work of the year. This is the best work I've seen from Mystico. This is Mystico in his element and getting. I say it a lot of times with some of the other guys that have come over from New Japan. When they're in America, it doesn't work as well. But when you put them in the Tokyo Dome or, any or Hurricane Hall or any of those places, all of a sudden it all makes sense why they're so popular with that Japanese crowd. This is one of those situations where Mystico and his theme music and everything, it doesn't necessarily always work in America unless you're a super smart fan. Here, this is his element. This worked perfectly. This was the ultimate good guy from that country versus the ultimate American heel, right down to it. And this was a situation where if MJF had won this and Mystico had lost the mask, I think that would have ended up being the wrong choice, because you have to send people home happy sometimes, at least.
Oh, I actually think it might have been the wrong choice because we would have saw a flashback to the 70s. We had MJF in this match having Jake Roberts heat in Mexico.
Fact.
Like this was great. And it had that feel in the arena where if MJF won this, I could believe people rushing the ring.
They might riot.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's like you need some bodyguards. Like I wouldn't be surprised if MJF got cut on the way back.
I don't know if Mexico City police could protect him.
It just that's kind of how I felt like this. CMML is not known for blood, and you had bloodshed quick in this, and MJF being the ultimate heel, like he plays a heel better than I think anyone else does, because he almost just does a parody of a heel. I feel like sometimes, and just always going for the thing that will draw the most heat. And in this match, I'm going for the mask right away, trying to unmask Mystico in a mask versus title match. Because even if he lost, even if MJF loses, he still won because he demasked him.
He did what
you're supposed to. Those are the type of tactics that tell the story that you're looking for in this sense. This whole match had that aura around it of this is not your normal CMML type match. Particularly, I like if you guys, for those of you that have been around for a while, if you remember our rankings of WrestleMania and how high I was on the WrestleMania match of Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper, because Roddy Piper doesn't get pinned. It's just so infrequently during that time specifically. You do not pin Roddy Piper. You don't bleed in CMML. And so that just really elevates this for me. And that's one of the things, like maybe we don't say it all that directly, but when you covet something and you make it feel special and you wait for the right moment for it to come to life, that's exactly what this match brought for a promotion that most of us aren't that familiar with. I know I'm not. I had to do some research on this one to even know some of these facts, to understand how special it was for those fans in Mexico that really understood this. I'm no hypocrite on that aspect of things. You guys know I say often that I watch WWE. I watch as much AEW as I can, and I really don't have much time to go past that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a big CMLL stan over here. So, but it did, like, after understanding that when I was watching this match, really understanding that like this was something special.
I also like to say, on my side, I have admitted this, and I've admitted this on the air. I am not the hugest Lucha fan. So with that said, I still love this match. Like this was one of this is one of the first real matches that we fully agreed on having on this list, even though we couldn't fully agree on the placement at first.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones to make it, and then being like, all right, where does it fit? It fits in. I think this is a good spot for it because the things that come next, you'll kind of, I think you'll all understand why we put it there. But honestly, if this is your number one, number two match of the year, I wouldn't be surprised. You as in the listeners, not Steven. I would be surprised if all of a sudden you tell me this is his number one match because we talked about it ahead of time. So number 5 brings us to WrestleMania 41. There was a lot of things that happened on this 2-a-day event. Some good, some bad. But what we think the best match of WrestleMania 41 was Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. If you listen to this show and you are surprised about this pick, that's shame on you, not shame on us. I can't tell you how much we gush over Io this year, over Rhea, Bianca. This match was on point.
There was a possibility
time.
this match would almost have gone to number one if it weren't for the fact that some of these other matches ahead of it are just like world beating matches. Like this being on WrestleMania and this being the best match of WrestleMania, kind of like that holds a certain regard.
Yeah, I probably had this before we agreed on where we're at, maybe a spot or two higher. This is kind of where it got a little tricky, guys, where we were trying to figure out where it fits in for the show, where we kind of see some of these things. And I stand by the list that we have here, but this one was one I probably would have put a little bit higher on it. All three of these women worked so well together. And I remember the beginning of this match, very little Jamokin. It was more like ins and outs of the match rather than, all right, go lay down for a little while so we can have a one-on-one match. It was two of them paired up while the other one like stumbled backwards and then came back into it. It was almost, it's, like that throwaway come back in, almost like a swing mentality of a match. There were some huge spots, big moonsaults off of the apron, bunch of near falls when Belair hits a 450 splash on Io into a riptide from Rhea. And like the end of this match was just like a chain of devastation. And
this is where Bianca hurt herself too, isn't it?
I think so. And this is where Io stole the match right after a KOD. So this was fantastic. This was really good. Like overall, and this is where Bianca was starting to feel a little heely as well when we've been talking about her having a little heel turn. And there was just so much storytelling here. Like you have two monster women going up against this little Io Sky. This one actually, if I'm not mistaken, we probably both got this one. So we probably picked Rhea for this one.
I think we might have. That's a good question.
In all fairness, like we're talking about almost a year ago.
No. Well, we both got this wrong.
No, Hound got it right.
Hound's the only one that got this right, and he's abandoned us. He's abandoned us. And then we kicked him off
the show immediately afterwards.
This was why, because What are you doing here? Nobody puts baby in the corner.
I had Rhea, Steven had Bianca, and Hound had Io. But I'm sure that in this moment, Hound would give me the moral victory. So you still got it wrong, and I technically got it right. Thanks, Hound. Appreciate you, bud. Anything you want to add to this match, Steven? Sorry, I know I went into it.
Just that, of course, Hound picked the Asian one.
That really is all I got.
That's all I got. This was honestly, this was such a good match, and we could probably sit here and gush over this again, but that'll take us for another hour or so. And I really do think that this was, like we said, this is the best match of WrestleMania, which being the best match of WrestleMania automatically puts you in a certain, and not the best match of night 2. This was the best match of WrestleMania either night. That includes the 3-way main event between Roman, Seth, and CM Punk. This was a better match.
there was some real stud matches on this, and like the one that I think is kind of forgettable, but like I just looked at the card and remembered how great it was Intercontinental title championship match between Finn Balor, Dom, Penta, and Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker.
Fantastic match. That was awesome. There was a lot of good matches on this, but there's some stinkers on this WrestleMania 2 that really hurt it, in my opinion. So like kind of looking through all of this, there was this one stood out. The night one main event, not the main event of WrestleMania, but the night one main event. Sorry, Punk. Was fantastic. That was one that we talked about potentially adding to this list as well. Like we had a real conversation around it. The Charlotte Flair Tiffany Stratton match ended up being fantastic too. So like there was lots of
it definitely came around
to take home. And I don't mention these to review WrestleMania 41. It's not what we think was the best show of the year, but I just put these in perspective that Io, Bianca, and Rhea on the biggest night in wrestling came out on top in our opinion. And I think that's worth talking about. And with that, Steven, number 4.
And that would be AEW Revolution, Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage match where everyone might as well have died because they pulled some crazy stunts, and I think a kid still has a screwdriver stuck in his eye.
He might.
This is that match.
He cannot go through metal detectors anymore.
No longer. Hopefully he got like the screwdriver signed by both guys at least. Something for his troubles. This match was amazing, and this match, though Kyle Fletcher loses this match, I think is truthfully the full finish of Kyle Fletcher's coming out party. They had done their match in the Continental Classic. They had done a couple other things. I think this match was finally the point where it was like, okay, we need to separate them for a little bit, but Kyle needs to start getting pushed a lot harder and have him get this push without Will Ospreay involved with this. I also think that they may have known how banged up Will Ospreay's neck was even all the way back then, and they were trying to set something up so that they could do something with someone else at this point. Fletcher, I speak very highly of Kyle Fletcher. I think he has the most beautiful brainbuster in all of professional wrestling, possibly ever. Will Ospreay, bruv. I don't know what version of Will Ospreay we're gonna get when he comes back, but to quote one Mr. Showtime Michael Wright, he told us to shut up and pay attention and just enjoy the ride, and we started doing it. And this was another situation of us just shutting up and enjoying that ride.
Everyone, it was definitely us, but everyone was saying this guy is going to destroy himself, and we were worried. But he's the only one I can remember on live TV saying, "Shut up! I know what I'm doing." Okay, you're an adult. You do you.
You are a grown up.
Want. It's fine. This match was great. The creativity in this cage match. It's really easy to let a cage match be a cage match. But these guys went out there and tried to put their own real unique spin on it. Fingers twisted in the fence. The Spanish fly off the top of the cage.
It looks rough.
Into the hidden blade tiger driver was peak finish You're right, Steven. If you go back to this match and look at Kyle Fletcher, because before this, Kyle Fletcher wasn't really being taken, like he was starting to be taken seriously, but he felt like a kid. And this is less than a year later, and you look at him now, and he is a major player, and it all was at this point, and maybe not the start, definitely not the start of, but the finish of the coming out party. I think that's how you kind of put it, Steve. And I think that
I
was
mean, he's
perfectly summed up.
he's only two. It's only two pay-per-views after this that he wins the TNT title, and that's all in Texas. That's the biggest show of their year. So he comes in and he gets that, or no, I'm sorry. It was supposed to be where he won it. That was when Dustin Rhodes won it, but he won it less than a month after that and took Dustin Rhodes out for basically a year at that point. So he was only a few months away from being pushed to the moon.
Let's take a little break, Stephen.
Little breaky break.
Let's give some people some roses that they deserve in this scenario. Because we're going to give a couple honorable mentions. We won't get too deep into the match itself or whatnot. I'm sure you guys are wrestling fans. You saw most of these matches. So, Stephen, why don't you start with your first honorable mention? As you guys know, we like to talk about the show doc. Stephen, I have your honorable mentions as the top two and my honorable mentions as the bottom two.
Okay. So my first honorable mention is going to be AEW Forbidden Door, Zack Sabre Jr. defending the IWGP World Title against Nigel McGuinness in a match of two British strong style technical wizards, basically from two different eras. This was what I felt like technical wrestling should be equated to, especially Nigel McGuinness. Nigel is the guy that, yes, he smoothly puts moves together, but then he also nails you with the hardest lariat that you might ever have seen. So I for everyone who thinks that technical wrestling is just moves, that's the other side of this, is knowing when and what strike to do is the other side of technical wrestling. So I love this match. This is why it's one of my honorable mentions.
My first one that I'm going to throw on here is another tag team format. The only one on this entire night that we'll talk about that did not happen on the PLA, though it should have. And it was the TLC match between the Street Profits, DIY, and the Motor City Machine Guns. This match was fantastic. They put on the match where I feel like you don't know what happens in the back and everything like that, but these guys put on a match, and the way it came off was they wanted people to regret not putting this on the PLE, because it was the Friday before a Saturday PLE.
Yep.
I can't remember exactly which one it is off the top of my head, but it seemed like an important one. And they could easily have put the tag team title match on there. And these guys went out and had just a spectacular match. It did everything you wanted at TLC. These guys were so talented, and this one really stood out, and one that I will remember moving forward.
All right. And my second one, because I'm in love with her, obviously, and that would be WWE WrestlePalooza for the vacant women's world title. Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer in what was clearly that weekend's match of the weekend. That was the same day that they were doing AEW All Out from Toronto. Just all around the show wasn't great. This match was amazing and better than anything else that was going on with either company at that point.
The last one of our honorable mentions was one that I love a good swerve, but this one doesn't have Strickland in it. I think we were all convinced that the Owen Cup Finals was going to be Will's Ospreys to lose. But Hangman had other plans. So we have at AEW's Double or Nothing, Hangman Adam Page versus Will Ospreay. Part of the reason I think this match really jumped out to me is I think it woke me back up to Hangman. That he is a guy that we could have a lot of fun chasing Moxley. At the time, we didn't really know how beat up Ospreay was, but it was one of those matches that you had these two guys come together, had a banger of a match, and then you did not expect, well, at least we didn't. I believe if we can go back to the videotape if we want, but I believe both of us had Ospreay winning this match, and Hangman came in, won it, and kind of really went on a really decent tear, proving out to me that he was a guy that could be the face of AEW. But then they didn't really land that one.
They did not stick that landing.
No, definitely not. Which then brings us to number 3.
Top
we have
3.
Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd in the long-awaited bout over diverticulitis of Kenny Omega coming back for Wrestle Dynasty. This one, this match just had so much impact on, like, having Kenny Omega being gone for so long, coming in here. You saw Gabe Kidd have a nice back and forth. Like, you could easily have had Kenny Omega's return be kind of a squash match and be like, oh, he's back. But Gabe Kidd had a lot of back and forths, kind of that brawling persona. This match was brutal. Like,
this match is absolutely brutal.
Beat the hell out of each other in this match. And this was just one that I think kind of redefined kind of what we wanted to see out of Omega and his return. What do you got, Steven?
I agree. This is the prime example that I give when I say Kenny Omega in New Japan in the Tokyo Dome. That feel, that big fight feel that they give for that, it's a different animal. It's almost like that version of Kenny Omega is a completely different person. AEW Kenny Omega is a good wrestler. New Japan Kenny Omega in the Tokyo Dome is the best bout machine. That is the guy that, as much as I hate Meltzer ratings, he deserves 5-star matches. He deserves the adulation that they get. This is him in the Tokyo Dome is Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. Him at the Tokyo Dome is the guys that have that feel to them where it's, okay, this is, the red light is on and I'm gonna turn it up to 11 or 12, and that's Kenny Omega. This match was phenomenal. Gabe Kidd having that more of the brawling, ground-based MMA type style. Omega doing the snapdragons, the more snappier and high-flying type maneuvers. It's their styles that complement each other very well. It's like watching Arn Anderson versus Ricky Steamboat at that point. You don't even realize how good it's going to be, and then you see it, and it's amazing.
Agreed. So, Steven, number 2.
Number two, AEW Revolution, our second AEW Revolution match that's on this top 10 pick. And that is Timeless Toni Storm versus Mariah May in a women's world title match. Falls count anywhere. And this match is as high as it is on this one, because Timeless Toni Storm is their female star. I don't care if you want to say it's Mercedes, it's not. Toni Storm is the AEW woman's star. She's the woman that rivals the men for star power. She's that person. And this match was so good that this should have been what closed out this show. And I think they had a missed opportunity by not having this match close out the show. This was everything that I wanted from Ultra Violence. This is, I believe, the last time we see Mariah May in AEW, because then she goes and becomes Blake Monroe in WWE NXT. And this is, to quote her, the death of Mariah May. This is the last time we see her. And she evolves into Blake Monroe over in NXT. This match was so good. They did everything right. Everything from the camera shots that they had of the match to the camera shots to the Tron at the end of the match with the Finn to let you know it's done. This match was amazing. I can't say enough good things about this one.
This program has been the highlight of me returning to wrestling. Steven and I have been doing this podcast almost for 2 full years now. We started 2 Elimination Chambers ago, and since returning, the storyline between Mariah May and Toni Storm, I think, is the best, bar none. I'm sure you can try to make a case for it, and again, you do you. I don't see how you can convince me in any way, shape, or form that there was anything better than the cinema, the excellence of the story that Toni Storm and Mariah May told over this time, culminating in this Falls Count Anywhere match. It was just a devastating match between each. I won't get too much into it. The way Steven just said, I don't need to repeat him, but I could. This one could have easily been the match of the year for me. Very easily could have been. The end of this in such a divisive fashion really went with the pile driver at the table for me. And Toni Storm, Toni Storm is fantastic. I don't know if I've ever said anything really bad about her on this show. And this was the pinnacle. I'll tell you what, like, not only is she AEW's women's star, but she's their main star. I think she's their main attraction. And if they put her in that space, you're right. This should have been the main event of this. They shouldn't think twice about putting Toni Storm in the main event over anybody else.
Especially in this case, like you said, with the storyline that was building to this, it would have made sense to be the main event.
Yeah. The only way it could have made it better was if it was almost like a lose or lease town kind of thing, where like it would have just given it the little extra knowing that Mariah May was leaving. Steven, I'm going to take another quick break. A little quick break from the list.
Is this because we're old? Like, we need extra time? Like, we have to go make like a...
I mean, it could be because
like a bathroom break?
Because No, not that kind of break. Come on, get together. We don't stop recording mid-record. Unless I have a weird kid that walks in the room. But there's a couple things I want to talk about before we finish this list. One of which is, Steven, what's your PLE of the year?
PLE of the year. So I am giving it to AEW World's End 2025. That is going to be my PLE of the year. I think that was... I know we've listed these top 10 matches. I guess at this point it would be the top 12 matches. But the truth of the matter is, most of the overall PLEs or pay-per-views, they were a little lacking. And maybe the bar was a little low, but AEW really delivered with that last pay-per-view. And like I said, it was a good hard reset for where things should probably be on their programming from now on.
You know, 2024 was so good. It was really hard to follow that up. And I think you can look back at 2025 and after we get like midway through 2026, we'll say, you know, it wasn't that bad. Like it was still good. It's hard to compare it to 2024. And I don't think it's fair because I do think some of these PLEs were mid. Particularly from the WWE side of things, there was quite a few of them. But I will say I think the WWE did have the best PLE of the year. And it was Evolution. That was a star-studded, women's-only PLE. We had some amazing matches that came out of it. One of your honorable mentions, the Naomi Jade Cargill match was great. The Io Ripley match was great. The Battle Royal was fun. Really, the coming of Stephanie Vacure. We had a great tag team match that happened here. This all in all, this PLE really showcased the talent of the women on the WWE roster in a way that it's really hard to do when it's a mixed gender event, particularly when they only have 5 matches on them. And this one, I think, went a long way with that. And this one will be one that I remember coming out of this as they went back to this format. Something I hope they do again, but at the same time, don't always need to just do women's only. Just get a couple more. Add 2 more matches and just make them all women's matches. You'll be fine in WWE. It's not a big deal.
Maybe a tag team match here and there?
Maybe. Hey, listen, now you're getting crazy.
I'm asking too much. I'm greedy. I'm
Steven,
sorry.
You are. You and I, we don't like to get, we don't try to get into the negative. Sometimes it happens and we can't help ourselves. But at the same time, I will say the low light of the year was John Cena's heel turn. I mean, come on. And this is not Monday Morning Quarterback. You listen to the show all year. You'll know from day one, we were like, this does not make any sense. This isn't us trying to save face. Go listen to it. This is dumb.
There's an entire year worth of shows that say this is a bad idea. Entire year worth of
shows. And this is our, we told you so. When people were saying this is the biggest heel turn of all times, means that this was the first year that they ever watched wrestling, in my opinion. It's crazy to think
they are 15.
That it's crazy to think that this was a better heel turn, even at the time, than Hogan joining the NWO. Like we had some other really good examples. We had Andre, Bob Backlund. We talked about a little bit.
Bob Backlund.
There's a couple other ones that we don't have to relive that.
The actual turn itself, Stone Cold might have been a better heel turn than this.
The double turn of Bret Hart and Austin
definitely is
probably better. I don't know if we said that one at the time, but put them all aside. Hogan is, and I have a hard time believing they will ever be a better heel turn than the Hulkster himself going Hollywood. It's just I just don't like it. It decimated wrestling. People were devastated, and that's not what happened here. Not even a little bit.
No.
So I say a lot of that stuff. I know we didn't connect on that ahead of time, but that was my big build to what I personally think, and I think you agree with me, Steven. The worst match of the year was at WrestleMania 41, and it was Cody Rhodes versus John Cena in a match that was designed to be bad. They admitted it. John Cena wanted to have a bad match with Cody Rhodes on the biggest night of wrestling to give him that title that he had to have. It really just made absolutely no sense to me. In that time, the match was bad, like just straight up bad. Sure, you could probably say that there were worse matches out there. I'm sure there were. And we're not we're not the type of guys that'll do a top 10 match. But man, for it being the main event of WrestleMania, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, man, was that a dud.
Yeah.
Steven, Wrestler of the Year. I'll let you take the pick because we have two of them here. But I'll let you choose which one you wanna reveal. There's really only one answer, and I'll tell you which one it is. But we did a second one for those.
I'm gonna do the one that I brought in later.
So not who we think is the Wrestler of the Year.
Not who we
Number
actually.
two,
I'm
I'm
gonna say
fair
who,
for the genders.
You know what? I'm gonna say the runner-up to Wrestler of the Year. Does that work for it?
I guess so.
So the runner-up for Wrestler of the Year.
Because I probably wouldn't put this person number two.
Fair. The runner-up, because he's a man, is Dirty Dom Mysterio. The double champ Dom, Rhea's ex-boyfriend, Liv's current boyfriend, possibly in a throuple with Liv and Roxanne. I don't know. The sexiest luchador, the gloat. He's not the gloat because El Grande Americano is the gloat.
I was trying to get Mysterio in there, the greatest Mysterio of all times.
He is the greatest Mysterio of all time. So he's the Jamote, not the Jamoke.
Yeah, it's too close to Jamoke.
Yeah. I mean, the possessor of the most fabulous mullet and mustache. And one of the few people who I don't hate their neck tattoos. Dirty Dom Mysterio.
That one here is wild. When Steven brought this, we were trying to say, so now you know, the Wrestler of the Year, in our opinion, is a female. We were like, I guess we need to have a male in this group as well, I guess. And really struggled to figure out who that was because your normal suspects really did not fit that bill. I do think that it was a little bit too evenly matched in AEW this year for one of those guys to really bubble up to the top. And when Steven said Dominic Mysterio, I was like, oh yeah, there it is. Now, I can't tell you how much he had such an unprecedented year that he turned the WWE audience heel. Like we've said that on the show, like he is responsible.
He's responsible for that heel turn.
For turning double heel and having the crowd turn with him. And there was no looking back. They've been heels ever since. It's just the way it works. Double champion. On top all year. Always excited. Last man to take a title off of John Cena. He is the last
real champion
to really be able to admit that he saw John Cena.
He did see John Cena.
He saw John
Cena.
So
if John Cena was the last real champion, does that make Dom the first unreal champion? I don't know where this goes. I don't know how.
The new last champion, real champion? The next last?
Is it like when Rob Van Dam was the whole effing show and then Jerry Lynn became the new effing show? So like Dom's the new real champion?
The new real last champion.
Yes.
Gotta be last champion.
Last champion.
That's silly. He lost the title. It doesn't make sense. Stop calling him that. Wrestle of the Year. I think Steven and I both very quickly admitted that this is the clear-cut winner. You saw it on Steve's list. He tried to put her on this list 15 times, and it was a top 10 list. It's really weird that that's how
it was 17 times.
And so, I mean, I'm sure you can guess it by now, but Io Sky had just the year of a lifetime. Champion, some of the best matches of the year, not just with Rhea Ripley. Stephanie McCure's match was great. Bianca with Rhea and Bianca Belair. The stuff that she's doing now, tagging. I know we're bleeding into 2026 with that comment, but there's a lot to like around Rhea, around EO this year, and I think she deserves it. She just fantastic year.
I can't agree more. Again, she's got that going for her.
She points at herself.
She points at herself.
And remember,
and
she started as a heel.
She did start as a heel, and then quickly everyone just loved her too much. So she's lovable. Not to mention, she puts garbage cans over her head, and then she does backflips off the top of cages. Like there it is.
No, we don't need to talk about that match. That match was not good.
This year, last year it was good.
But this year is what we're talking about. It's best matches 2025. Or actually, last year is what we're talking about because it's January. 14th,
it is now 2026.
I think Steven, it leaves us just one more. Number one. Steven, when I look back at this year and I think about the matches that I enjoyed, that I watched, I think 2025 is always going to be defined from the match that made me go back to the future. Great Scott. It is John Cena versus AJ Styles in everyone's favorite finisher match.
Everyone's favorite finisher.
I will admit, probably not the best technical match you'll ever see in your life. But man, did I get to see RKOs, walls of Jerichos, Styles clashes, super kicks, literally everything that you wanted from these guys. Tribute after tribute after tribute. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it right now. We've talked a lot about John Cena's final year, and this match is the pinnacle of what we actually wanted. WWE listened to us too late because everyone wanted John Cena heel turn. They just wanted it 10 years ago. They didn't want it this year. They wanted to be able to love him now and go from there. And this match was just absolutely awesome. And in all the right nostalgia buttons, reasons, a celebration of both men's careers, really. Knowing that John Cena's was done at the end of this year, knowing that AJ Styles has less than a year left. And this, I don't know, like it's, we saw glimpses of Frankie Kazarian. We saw Christopher Daniels. We saw, like I said, Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker,
The Miz,
Bray Wyatt, The Miz. The Miz. No, I don't talk trash on The Miz. I know that I know a lot of people like to do that, but I think that he's probably one of the more underrated guys out there. Just like we were watching us play a video game, spamming the finisher moves of all your friends. It was absolutely fantastic, and for me, again, Mariah May versus Toni Storm, Kenny Omega gave Kid better matches in theory, like wrestling matches. But when you look back and you think about 2025, if this is not the match that comes to mind first, I don't know if you love wrestling. I'm sorry.
So dare I say that this match was phenomenal?
You could. You dare,
but
you won't do it.
Both truthful and pun intended. I will say this: if you're going to make any critique on this match, it's that we said that this is not the best technical wrestling match on this list, but a critique that I could say in a good way, and I've said this to you since this match has happened, is John Cena and AJ Styles are the only two people that could do this match.
Facts.
I can't show this match at a wrestling school and be like, okay, now go do this, because the kids there don't have 25 years at the top of the business. That's like it. The match that I would compare this to is Hogan Rock from WrestleMania. You can't teach somebody to do that match. This match is only this high and this great because it is John Cena as the true John Cena versus AJ Styles, who, I don't care how close he is to retirement, I think AJ still might be the best performer in ring in wrestling. It is still arguable. He does everything completely correctly still to this day.
Under some moment of this match is AJ entering in his TNA gear.
Cena having AJ get his own personalized entrance, which AJ did not know he was going to get. That was a big one. And truthfully, this is the point where John Cena throwing his name and his power around is completely accurate, because what are you going to say? No, John, I'm not going to do that. Really? He's not. It doesn't work that way. You're going to let John Cena do what he wants. He had what, 2 months left after this, a month and a half, something like that. So this is the clear-cut choice. I know there are people who, when they wanted to bash this match, one of the bashes was, well, but they did everyone else's finisher. Why wouldn't that hold them down if it's everyone else's finisher? First of all, people doing their own finisher doesn't hold anyone down nowadays. Secondly, the whole point is it's your finish, which means John Cena doing Randy Orton's finisher, he should not be as good at it. AJ Styles doing Christopher Daniels' finisher, he should not be as good at it. So it doesn't keep you down. It does actually make psychological sense in this case.
I actually think that you shouldn't have quantified that with an answer, and whoever said that, just RQ them on the spot. That would have been, that's an interesting point. I have another one for you. Skabao!
And just hit them with their own finish if they 100%. Were a wrestler.
Who cares? Whatever, like that was your finish, and I just hit you with it.
There it is. Now stay down.
This was a love letter to wrestling. This is exactly what we want to see. And like I said before, great Scott. Great Scott. Folks, that was our 2025 in review. Best matches. 10, I guess 12. There's quite a few matches we talked about on this call. Because we can't help ourselves sometimes, as you know.
We're overachievers.
Yeah, we can do what we want. It's our show. No one tells us what to do. Thank you all for taking this journey back through the year with us. Please, again, like I said in the beginning of the show, tell us what you think we got right, what we got wrong. Put your top 10 down there if you'd like. Throw a couple extra in for bonus if you'd like. Everyone loves a good honorable mention. Please like, subscribe, share the podcast. It really helps us out. Tell a friend. If you don't have any friends, tell a stranger. And Steven.
As always, guys, remember, tuck your chin when you bump.